There's a reason the greatest philosophers, leaders, and thinkers often practice silence. It's not just about what you say. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Imagine being able to control a conversation without uttering a single word, or influence others by simply pausing before you speak. This is a skill rooted deeply in Stoicism, where silence becomes a tool for clarity, wisdom, and power. Before we begin, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us continue this incredible journey into Stoicism, self-mastery, and deeper understanding. Number 1. The power of silence in Stoicism. In Stoicism, silence isn't a sign of weakness or passivity. Instead, it's an intentional act of self-control. By choosing when to speak and when to remain quiet, Stoics understood that silence could communicate more than words. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often reflected on the power of saying less to preserve inner peace. Pausing before you speak allows you to think clearly, ensuring that your words are not driven by emotions or impulses, but by logic and reason. This practice not only helps you remain calm, but also forces others to listen more attentively when you do speak. When you pause, you give yourself a moment to reflect and others a moment to absorb what you've already said. Silence in Stoicism is about creating space between stimulus and response. This small gap helps avoid rash decisions and cultivates patience. It's in the pause that true wisdom arises because you're not rushing to fill the space with unnecessary words. One way to practice this in daily life is to pause for a few seconds before responding during conversations. It can be uncomfortable at first, but over time, it becomes a natural part of communicating with thoughtfulness and precision. Number 2. Pauses as a tool for emotional mastery. When emotions run high, our instinct is often to react immediately. But Stoicism teaches us that by pausing, especially in heated moments, we regain control over our emotional responses. This pause is crucial for tempering emotions like anger or frustration, allowing us to respond with calmness instead of regret. Epictetus advised that we shouldn't be disturbed by external events, but by the judgments we place on them. Pausing helps us stop and reconsider those judgments. When you take a moment to breathe, you distance yourself from the heat of the moment. Consider a scenario where someone criticizes you. Instead of reacting defensively, pause. That silence gives you time to assess whether the criticism is valid or simply noise. By delaying your response, you prevent the situation from escalating and demonstrate emotional intelligence. Pausing doesn't just benefit you, it impacts how others perceive you. In a professional setting, someone who pauses before responding seems more thoughtful, composed, and authoritative. This practice is a hallmark of great leaders who understand that a deliberate pause can convey more power than hastily spoken words. Number 3. The art of pausing in conversations. Pausing during a conversation isn't just about controlling your emotions. It's also a way to command respect. When you pause, you signal to others that you're confident enough not to fill every silence with chatter. This can shift the dynamics of any conversation, putting you in a position of control. By mastering the art of pausing, you create tension and curiosity. The person you're speaking to is left wondering what you'll say next, and that anticipation amplifies the impact of your words. When you do finally speak, your message lands with greater force. This technique is particularly effective in negotiations. Pausing after making a point gives the other person time to reflect on your words, making them more likely to consider your perspective seriously. This strategy can help you steer conversations in the direction you want without being overtly forceful. On a personal level, pausing before you give advice to a friend or loved one can also make your words feel more thoughtful and considerate. Instead of jumping in with an immediate opinion, taking a moment shows you've truly listened. Number 4. Silence as a form of wisdom. Seneca once said, "Speech is a mirror of the mind." In silence, the mind can process thoughts more deeply, leading to greater understanding and wisdom. Pausing, in many ways, is a reflection of wisdom because only those who are comfortable with silence can wield it effectively. When you embrace silence, you're practicing humility. Instead of rushing to showcase what you know, you give yourself the gift of reflection. This habit leads to more insightful contributions when you do speak. People who constantly chatter are often perceived as trying to prove something, but those who use silence wisely are seen as confident and in control of their thoughts. In Stoicism, wisdom comes not from speaking, but from observing. The more you practice being silent, the more you'll notice, whether it's the nuances of a conversation or the subtleties of someone's body language. Pausing gives you the chance to absorb this information and respond with greater understanding. Next time you're in a debate or discussion, try using silence as a tool for observation. You'll find that you're not only hearing others better, but also understanding the situation on a deeper level. Number 5, pauses for clarity and reflection. Pausing doesn't only benefit conversations with others. It's essential for the conversations we have with ourselves. In our fast-paced world, we're constantly reacting to stimuli without taking time to reflect. Stoicism teaches that the greatest insights come from moments of stillness. By pausing throughout your day, even for brief moments, you allow your mind to reset and refocus. This can be as simple as taking a breath before starting a new task or practicing mindfulness for a few seconds in between meetings. These micro-pauses prevent burnout and help maintain clarity. Stoic philosophers like Seneca advocated for daily reflection, and one of the easiest ways to do this is by incorporating pauses into your routine. A pause before making a big decision, a pause before reacting to bad news. These moments of stillness provide the mental space needed to make wiser choices. In our personal lives, practicing these pauses can improve relationships. When we pause before responding to loved ones, we give ourselves time to think about how our words might impact them, ultimately fostering more understanding and compassion. Number 6, using silence to control the narrative. In any interaction, the person who speaks the least often controls the narrative. Pausing strategically allows you to take a step back and observe how others are responding. This is an effective way to read the room and adjust your message accordingly. When you're silent, others will often fill the space with their thoughts. This gives you an advantage because you can gather more information before deciding how to respond. By pausing, you put yourself in a better position to understand the motivations and intentions of those around you. For example, in a job interview, pausing before answering a question can demonstrate confidence and thoughtfulness. It signals that you're not rushing to impress, but rather carefully considering your answer. In a business meeting, a well-timed pause can make others more inclined to agree with you, simply because you've allowed them to think deeply about your point. Mastering the art of pausing allows you to lead without dominating and to influence without overpowering. Number 7, pauses for self-control in conflict. In moments of conflict, silence can be your greatest asset. When an argument arises, the impulse is often to respond immediately, but Stoicism reminds us that reacting in the heat of the moment rarely leads to positive outcomes. A pause allows you to regain control over your emotions. In any confrontation, when you pause, you're showing strength, not weakness. You're demonstrating that you're in control of yourself and the situation, which can often diffuse tensions. This self-restraint is a core Stoic principle. Pausing also gives the other person a chance to cool down. Instead of engaging in a back-and-forth escalation, you create space for both parties to reflect. The pause becomes a buffer that protects your inner tranquility. A practical application of this is when you're criticized. Instead of jumping to defend yourself, pause. Reflect on whether the criticism holds any truth, and if not, let it pass without emotional reaction. This practice can save you from unnecessary conflicts and maintain your composure in difficult situations. Number 8, pausing to regain focus. In a world full of distractions, silence and pausing are essential for regaining focus. When you're constantly bombarded with information, pausing allows you to reset your mind and prioritize what truly matters. This practice is essential for cultivating a Stoic mindset in modern life. Pausing is a simple yet powerful tool for eliminating distractions and regaining mental clarity. Before jumping into a new task, pause to evaluate whether it aligns with your goals. This moment of reflection ensures that you're working on the right things instead of getting lost in trivial matters. In Stoic philosophy, the concept of ataraxia, a state of serene calmness, can be achieved through moments of stillness. When we pause and tune out the noise, we connect with this inner calm, allowing us to navigate life's challenges with greater focus and intention. Practicing micro-pauses throughout the day can also improve productivity. Instead of rushing from one task to the next, take brief moments of silence to reset. This will help you maintain energy and avoid burnout in the long run. Number 9. Silence and strategic timing. Knowing when to speak and when to stay silent is an art. Timing is everything, and a well-placed pause can amplify the impact of what you're about to say. In Stoicism, timing is tied to the idea of acting in accordance with nature, doing the right thing at the right time. When you pause strategically, you're giving your words weight. Think of it as creating a rhythm in your speech. Just as music needs moments of silence to create suspense and drama, conversations need pauses to let ideas sink in. In public speaking, pausing after delivering a key point gives the audience time to absorb your message. This practice not only emphasizes what you've said, but also makes you appear more composed and in control. In everyday conversations, knowing when to pause can also create space for deeper dialogue. By not rushing to fill the silence, you invite others to share more, often leading to more meaningful exchanges. Number 10. Pauses for inner peace and mindfulness. Ultimately, the power of pauses isn't just about improving communication with others. It's about deepening the connection with yourself. Pausing throughout the day allows you to check in with your thoughts and emotions, creating a space for mindfulness. In Stoicism, the goal is to achieve a state of inner peace, regardless of external circumstances. Pausing is one way to cultivate this peace. When you pause, you break the cycle of reactivity, allowing yourself to respond with calmness and clarity instead of being swept away by emotions. Mindfulness practices, such as meditation or simple breathing exercises, can help you develop this habit of pausing. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to integrate pauses into your daily life. At the end of the day, the pause isn't just a tool for communication. It's a way to live more intentionally, with greater awareness and self-mastery. By mastering the power of pauses, you're not only improving how you communicate with the world, but you're also cultivating a deeper sense of inner tranquility and self-control. Don't underestimate the strength of silence. Embrace it, and you'll discover a whole new level of influence and wisdom. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel as we continue this journey of self-discovery through the lens of Stoicism. Your support means the world.